Timing can be a cruel thing in basketball, as just 2 weeks before the end of the 2022 regular season, Robert Williams, the Time Lord himself, has sustained a torn meniscus in his left knee, which, according to reports, could sideline him for several weeks or, depending on the chosen course of treatment, could even keep him off the court for the entire Celtics playoff run. Near the end of a breakout fourth season wherein he has averaged career highs of 10 points, 9.6 rebounds, 2.2 blocks, and 0.9 steals per game, while also shooting a ridiculous 73.6% from the field, Robert Williams has emerged as an all-defensive first-team lock while helping transform the Boston Celtics into legitimate championship contenders and into the best defensive team in the NBA. Well, I've said it even before the start of the season, the Celtics were without a doubt going to be legitimate sleepers to become finals contenders, and one way or another, I believe this team will figure out a way to make a deep playoff run even without Williams. The Celtics are a deep team, and to be fair, they've thrived not because of one particular star, but because of their ball-sharing habits and constant switching schemes on defense. However, we also have to remember that Robert Williams is a staple of Boston's top-ranked NBA defense and also a vital part of their mid-season turnaround. He plays with an athletic dynamic that nobody else in the roster can provide and who few players in the NBA can actually match. As a big man who can alter shots from anywhere on the floor, who can also serve as a constant above-the-rim threat while also being a high-level passer, his wide-ranging impact is reflected in the team's net rating, as the Celtics are a plus 10 points per 100 possessions when Robert Williams is on the court. That point differential ranks in the 88th percentile of the entire NBA. So I think it's safe to say that his absence will definitely be felt by the Boston Celtics, especially in a playoff series. So what's good everyone, it's Real Balls here, but before we continue, let me ask you guys this question. Do you really think the Time Lord's injury changes the projection about the Celtics being the sleeper favorites to win the NBA title? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section below and we'll talk about more of that in this video. But also, if you guys happen to enjoy these types of content, please make sure to hit that like button or click that subscribe button as well. It only takes a second of your time, but it will be much appreciated. So let's get to it. Although Robert Williams only ranks 5th in scoring for the Celtics at 10 points per game, that doesn't measure his key role in Boston's success, as he acts as a crucial linchpin for Boston's top-ranking defense instead. The Celtics are allowing opponents to score an NBA low 105.9 points per 100 possessions, and their defense has far been better than everyone else's as the season went on. In fact, Boston's 104.3 defensive rating since the start of 2022 is also 4.5 points better than that of the Dallas Mavericks, who are in second place. In part, the Celtics defense started to evolve when first-year coach Udoka made the unconventional choice of moving Robert Williams away from the sorts of actions such as handoffs and pick and rolls, while it was Boston's other bigs like Al Horford or Grant Williams who were employed to cross-match against other centers in screen actions. All in all, this allowed the Time Lord to roam the baseline while acting as a last-second rim protector while also being someone who can constantly close out on corner shooters. I think this strategy is worked for a couple of reasons. First is obviously Robert Williams' elite rim protection. Although he's only listed at 6'8", Williams has got great vertical timing and a 7'5" wingspan. Williams' 2.2 blocks per game currently ranks second in the entire NBA. Second, Williams also has great versatility and mobility for his size, which is why even smaller and quicker players also aren't able to blow by him on defense. In fact, out of all 139 players to have been the closest defender on at least 600 shot attempts this season, whether it be on the paint or the perimeter, Williams' defensive mark actually ranks first, as he has forced opponents to shoot only 35.5% from the field. Just like here, coming off an inbound play, you can see Williams picking Giannis up right from the point of attack. Giannis' speed forces Jaylen Brown to help for a second, but watch the Time Lord recover with a nice help side block right at the rim. Then here, you can see Williams switching to the much quicker CP3. The point guard tries to use his usual behind-the-leg stutter step to set up his mid-range pull-up, but the Time Lord just does a great job of staying mobile while using his size to bother the shot altogether. Well, these are just some of the many ways that Williams displays his on-court versatility for Boston. So ultimately, I think you can't blame fans who are thinking that perhaps Boston's hopes of reaching the NBA Finals are now shot because of his absence. Cause to be fair, matchups will matter in the playoffs, and the Time Lord is easily one of the best walking mismatches out there. In a potential series against Milwaukee, he would easily provide some much-needed help defense on downhill attacks by Giannis, or you would also imagine him switching to guards like Kyle Lowry or Kyrie Irving in the perimeter in a series against either the Heat or the Nets. After all, this season, using a switch-heavy defensive scheme in order to slow down screen-heavy offensive teams has been the Celtics' bread and butter. According to Synergy Sports, not only are the Celtics the most switch-heavy team in the NBA, as they've been switching on 40% of opposing teams' ball screens, but also the .86 points per possession that they're allowing opponents to score on their switches also ranks as the best mark in the entire league. And overall, Robert Williams has been a key piece to Boston's switch-heavy scheme, as this season, the Time Lord has switched a total of 283 ball screens, which is the 8th most in the NBA among all players to have defended a screener. Well, sure, it might look ideal for teams to isolate their guards or wings against a big man like Williams. However, because of his shiftiness and mobility, Williams has been limiting pick-and-roll ball handlers to only .49 points per 100 possessions whenever he switches to them, which is again the best mark in the entire NBA this season. Just like here, coming from a handoff, you can see Bradley Beal trying to attack the drop coverage with Jaylen Brown guarding him, but then you see the switch from Robert Williams. Beal gets his hip to turn a little bit, but then just watch Williams spin around, recover, and use his size to effectively challenge the step-back jumper. Then again here, off a ball screen, you see Williams getting switched to Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson tries to create something, but Williams cuts him off really well, and so he's forced to swing the ball to Mitchell on the corner. Then as you can see, Mitchell is able to blow by Marcus Smart, but Williams provides excellent help side rim protection as he blocks the attempt at the rim. Well, for sure, without Robert Williams on the lineup, the demands for the team's other big men to step up will be heavier. But I think this doesn't mean you can just count the team out, and that's because although the Time Lord is a huge part of the Celtics' defensive system, he's not necessarily their sole anchor in a way that, say, Rudy Gobert is for the Utah Jazz. As it appears, Boston has the positional depth to handle a short-term absence by their starting center. At the trade deadline, the Celtics brought back Daniel Theis, and although he's only the team's 4th big man out of the rotation when everyone is healthy, and although he's only averaged less than 14 minutes per game since coming back to Boston, Theis has shown in the past that he's capable of playing a huge role in a playoff series. But still, I'm pretty sure that the Time Lord's absence will be felt by the Celtics on both ends of the floor. Although the team is stacked with really versatile big men, neither Horford, Theis, or Grant Williams is as prolific of a rim protector as the Time Lord is. Also on offense, Robert Williams ranks 4th in total dunks in the entire NBA while also shooting almost 74% from the field this season, all thanks to his vertical spacing ability. He's also been a very useful playmaker out of short rolls this season, all while averaging a career-high 2 assists per game. These are the kinds of things that Boston will miss from Robert Williams, but again, the good thing is, between Theis, Al Horford, Grant Williams, or even Luke Cornett, head coach Udoka will definitely have a lot of frontcourt options to cover for him. When the playoffs begin, he could start Theis alongside Al Horford to keep Boston's 2 big man lineup intact, but personally, I don't think he does that because it would make the bench thinner and more vulnerable to foul trouble. So I think Grant Williams could easily be the choice to replace the Time Lord in the starting lineup. Well, for sure, he also doesn't have the Time Lord's athletic ability as a shot blocker or as a roll man, but I think Grant Williams would at least allow the team to keep their ball-sharing offense and switch-heavy defense in play right off the bat, cause aside from shooting 42% from deep, which is the 7th best mark in the league this season, Grant can also guard multiple positions quite well. He basically would still keep the train moving on both ends for Boston. Well, again, if you ask me, I think Robert Williams should play if he can come back at some point in the playoffs, but considering he has a history of knee issues, I expect the team to be quite careful when approaching his injury. After all, Williams signed a 4-year $54 million extension last summer, which in my opinion could end up as one of the best value deals in the league in the coming years. But first, Boston would want to keep their starting center healthy for the long haul, cause they are indeed a young team. All of Boston's core players outside of Al Horford are in their 20s, and over the past 5 years, they've been to 3 conference finals together with a first round and a second round appearance. I think this team will just keep getting better. Plus, as of late, the narrative about Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum being unable to coexist in a winning environment has been shut down because of both guys' ability to play great two-way basketball together. Overall, having 2 all-stars who can both set the team's defensive tone while also having a couple of great two-way pieces in Marcus Smart and Derrick White would still make Boston real contenders for years. While for sure, the Time Lord's injury is a bummer, but obviously the Celtics title window is just beginning. So thank you guys if you made it this far into the video, and again, how much do you think of the Celtics title hopes will be affected by Robert Williams' injury? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and again, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing as well. Again, this is Real Balls, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.